Thanks for tuning in to the Charles Novell School of Music podcast, The Best Day Yet. Here you'll find tips, insight, and information to help your music and your ministry succeed. Whether you're a singer, a musician, or a songwriter, we want to help you where you are, but we also want to help you get to where you want to go. We believe that our talents are God's gift to us, but what we do with those are our gift back to God. Yesterday's information is important, but what we can learn today will make this the best day yet. Hey, welcome back to the CNS podcast, The Best Day Yet. Hope you're having a good day. Hey, I'm excited. Another special guest today, longtime friend, great singer, a connoisseur of good food because he likes Skyline chili. We have none other than the Buddy Bates with us. Buddy, say hello to everybody.
Hello, everyone. It is an honor to be here with you, Rob. Thank you so much for inviting me to be on the show.
Oh, man, you are welcome. I love the school. Love doing this podcast, and just going to be very conversational today. You've done a lot in your career, and want you to just kind of talk a little bit about that today. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about the proverbial Southern gospel joke. You've been with so many groups you can't keep a job.
That would be me. Yes, sir.
That one. So hang on. You get all the double whammies because you sing the ladies part.
Yep.
You can't keep a job because you've been with all those groups. Tenors just easy targets.
We are, and I don't really understand why. We're normally pretty nice guys, I
don't pick on tenors. My dad raised me, Rob, be nice to ladies. So I don't get into that game. But no, listen, we go way back, buddy.
We do.
First off, we are both from Southern Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
Now, did you grow up there? Were you born there?
I have. I have lived in Fairfield 54 of my 56 years of existence.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Very, 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 very cool. I knew, so July the 4th was 20 our 20th anniversary of being in Atlanta.
I'm surprised by that, man.
It's unbelievable. I am a 20-year transplanted Yankee.
Wow.
Look, I am still as Buckeye. Well, not Buckeye being Ohio, but Bearcat, Skyline eating, Yankee as I ever was. But anywho, then I go back and I think, that seems about right. So, how'd you get started singing? Where'd you start?
Well, it's funny you asked that. My wife and I actually found my little suit last night. My dad used to sing country music. And he sang in some nightclubs and things. And sometimes, depending on the situation of the club, I would go to those clubs. And they dressed in these Porter Wagner type suits with the rhinestones down the legs, the little wagon wheels on their pockets. And so anyway, I'm not sure how old I was, but when I tell you the story, you'll know I was pretty young. So at one particular nightclub, this gentleman came up to me one night and said, "Hey, I'll give you $20 if you'll sing Delta Dawn." Okay. And I said, No, I can't do that. Can't do it. So the next night in the same club, a gentleman came up to me and said, "I'll buy you a Coke if you sing Delta Dawn." And I said, "Okay, you got it."
Okay.
So I was really young, but that's where it all started.
Next time I have to write you a check, I'll remember it's just a lot cheaper just to get you a 12-pack of Coke.
Give me a Coke and I'm good to go, apparently.
Okay. So once again, you guys are just easy targets, especially when you tell on yourself for wearing rhinestone, blinged out outfits.
My dad made me do it, man.
Your dad, Merle, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I thought I remembered that correctly. I had how old were you?
At that point, I don't know. I would guess 8 years old, maybe 7, somewhere in there. I
Okay.
don't know. I mean,
So
I was
I,
so young, I didn't know the difference between $20 and a Coke.
well, now they're about the same,
Yeah, that's true.
about equal value these days. So I have a similar story about 7 or 8 with rhinestones. Uh,
Oh,
Dad drug us down to music hall, and the curtains opened, and this guy come walking out to a piano covered in rhinestones and feathers. And buddy, I was 7 or 8, but I remember looking at that stage going, something's a little off with that guy up there.
I bet. I bet.
So,
I wasn't
yeah.
covered in them. I just had them down the pant leg. That was it.
Okay.
You know, it
Okay.
wasn't covered.
Okay. Well, no, it's still not acceptable, but okay. 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 So you started there. So what was the first gospel group that you sang in?
The first gospel group actually was my dad's. He
Okay.
he got saved and started a group, and I started out playing actually a set of spoons with the group he had, and then I moved to drums and bass guitar, lead guitar, piano,
Okay.
whatever needed to be done, and started singing.
So do you still play?
I still play. Yeah, I don't consider myself, that good of a musician because I kind of worked at it and then I focused more on the voice.
Okay.
And but I can still play some.
Okay. I
I have all
didn't.
the instruments.
Okay. Well, yeah, I see some things hanging there behind you. I didn't know that. That's okay. I'll store that into the information bank.
Uh-oh.
It will come out as needed in the future. Um, so when you so that Funderburk's got a similar story. He started playing drums in his dad's
Yeah,
group.
I didn't know that until you guys did the interview at the school this year, and I was like, "Wow, that's so cool that we both started kind of the same way."
Yeah.
So,
I knew that, having traveled with Danny, I knew that story. But yeah, that's something that you two have in common there. So when you gravitated to singing, um, what was it about singing that caused you to stay there and not go back and pursue the instruments?
um, really, it was just I think the love of being able to share the lyrics of a song with people and see how it touches them. To me, I just felt there was more of a connection there
Yeah.
than there is playing an instrument. And maybe because I think I'm better at singing than the instruments. I don't know.
No,
But
I get that because as an instrumentalist and a soloist, one of the hardest things to do is to play the lyric,
mhm,
and that is something that a good soloist tries to do.
mhm.
It's and that's hard. So yeah, at times I'm like, oh, this would be much easier just singing, you know,
Yeah, yeah.
because it's a little. So I totally get that. Okay, so from your dad's quartet, where did it go from there?
Well, then I went to the Ball family.
Okay,
I was there for a couple years. And then I went to a group called the Mercy River Boys out of Columbus.
okay.
We had a lot of radio success. We had, I think, 4 or 5 songs in the top 80.
I remember that group.
Yeah.
Probably more so because I knew you were in it.
Uh-huh.
Um, but I do remember that. So Ball family, the Mercy River, where from there?
Oh, man, you're testing me now. Like you said, I can't keep a job. So let's see. After Mercy River Boys was a group out of Louisville called the Stone Ridge Quartet.
Okay.
And I sang with them for a while. And then I started my own quartet, which started out as New Voice Quartet, ended up becoming Mercy River. Because every time we would call and talk to someone, they would say, "New boys, new what? New voice." And it's just like, okay, this name's not working. So 3 of the 4 of us were in the Mercy River Boys in the past. So we just went with Mercy River. It was easy. And the 4th person was actually Greg Tingler, that wrote a lot of great songs through the years with Gold City and some others. So
Okay. I remember. Yeah, I remember that name too. Um, all right. Now, um, we're so when did the Crownsmen come into play? I remember.
yeah, they were after that. I was with the Crownsmen for 6 years,
Okay.
which for me, growing up in Cincinnati,
Yeah.
they were always that benchmark for everyone else. The Crownsmen were just the top of that you could go with, and it was an honor for me to be able to sing with those guys. I still stay in touch with them. Just saw Glenn last week a couple times. Love those guys and had a great time singing there. It was an honor to be there.
Yeah. Glenn and Doug were. I agree. Growing up in Cincinnati, knowing the groups and knowing what everybody was doing, there were a few groups that were just uh, kind of. I always wondered what kept them from what kept them a regional group, you know.
Right.
And I think Glenn was a school teacher, if I remember correctly.
That's correct.
I think it was just they they answered the call for the lane that they were in, and
Right.
um, I think, golly, not today's topic, but it could be. Um, People try too hard to make something that it's not
Yeah.
out of their ministry,
Yep.
and we're sitting here um, confessing on live radio the fact that let's put it in perspective. We have both been on main stage at NQC,
Correct.
but we've just both confessed that they were the bar we were chasing in our hometown,
Right.
and they never took main stage. So maybe people are just missing it. The whole phrase "grow where you're planted." Crownsman, that's what they did,
Yeah, they did,
and
and they did it well. I mean, they were as good as any professional group on the road.
extremely well. I went so when I came off the road in '95, and Dad and I really pursued Counterpoint, which kind of could see it on the wall
Yeah,
behind me.
yeah, I remember that sign.
We're that's still running to today, but man, we started grabbing some of those groups, the Crownsmen, um, the Ball family,
Hmm.
over happening in Indianapolis were the Gospel Servants and the Lordsmen
Or yeah,
and good groups over there. And we started grabbing these groups, and um, you know, Dad and I, Dad was the ultimate grow where you're planted.
yeah,
And I remember us having some conversations of um, this is as big as we want to go with what we're doing, because we can make a bigger impact here working with people like this than um, maybe trying to get with trying to get full-time groups on our label. And then the Tony brothers came in and we did several things for them, and
yeah,
that was fun. Oh gosh, still to this day, I'll never forget the fact that I got to produce a project multiple for Bill Bays. I mean, it was
yeah,
like what, come on.
yeah.
So, okay, Crownsman, amazing group. And now so were you with the Crownsman when I was at Jeff Stice' house in Kentucky and I get a phone call and I reached out to you? Were you singing with them at that time?
Yes, I was.
Okay. So, am I staying in chronological order kind of here then?
I think so. Yeah, I have to look on the wall and all the little things up here, but yeah, I think so.
The wall of shame.
Yeah, my wife put little plaques up of all the CDs I've been on through the years. So.
You sent me that text. That was so cool. I mean, that's really, really cool. Yeah, I have a wall of shame, I call it, over here in the corner. So so I was at Jeff Stice's house in Kentucky, and I get a phone call, and I look down, and it was Billy Blackwood.
Hmm.
And I answered it, and he said, "Hey, Wayne," this was just after Quartet Convention. He
Yeah.
said, "Wayne has had a heart attack, and we need a fill-in. Can you think of anybody?" And buddy, before he finished saying the words, your name had popped up, and because I knew you through all of these different groups, but then you were part of Counterpoint
Yes.
with background vocals,
Yeah.
helping us in the studio. And um, how long did you study with my dad?
I think it was about 4 years that I
Okay.
studied with him.
Okay.
Yeah. Every
Um,
Thursday night for a half hour or 2 hours, depending on who showed up after me.
you know what? If my dad was a giver,
Yes.
if he got paid for every minute that he taught, I'd have a great inheritance coming one day, buddy.
Yes, sir, you would.
But
And I
no,
would owe you a lot of money.
you're right. I'm a lot like my dad, but where I differ is when it's 30 minutes, they're out the door and the next one's coming in.
Yeah.
I am able to stay on time a little better than my dad. So anyway, back to the Billy thing. I said,
Uh-huh.
yeah, I've got you a tenor, and I called you and got you guys connected, and so all of a sudden you find yourself out with the Blackwood Brothers Quartet.
Yeah, man.
Now, that had to be crazy.
It was crazy, because it was literally, I think, well, Brian Hudson also talked to Billy and told Billy about me. So between the two of you, I guess it worked out. And Billy called me that night. It was a Friday night. It was about 10 o'clock and asked me if I could do it. And, God's amazing because they were going to sing in Dallas. And I had a flight for Monday morning to Dallas because of work the next week.
Wow.
So all Billy had to do was cover the change fee between the Monday morning flight and Saturday morning flight.
Wow.
So God was already sending me there. And when I finished the weekend, I was literally 30 minutes from where I was supposed to start working on Monday morning. So
Golly.
absolutely crazy to hear all of that. But yeah, Billy contacted me. It was about 10 o'clock. My wife and I left Pittsburgh, drove home the 5 hours, unpacked, repacked. She rushed me to the airport or I would have missed the flight. I flew down and on the flight, I remembered I didn't have the songs. I didn't know what they were singing. Billy sent me emails, apparently 5 emails. I only got one. So I got on Spotify and just downloaded everything I could find and listened to it on the plane. And I'm on the plane and I'm a nervous wreck. I've never been nervous in my life, but I'm a nervous wreck. And I said, God, I've always dreamt of singing full time. And I'm going to get my opportunity. But could you have maybe started me out in baby steps and not put me on stage with the legendary world famous Blackwood Brothers
Right.
my first night? And not knowing the songs. It's like, okay, God, I don't know what you're doing here, but I trust you. So yeah, it was absolutely amazing and incredible to walk on stage with them that first night, and I'll never forget it, man. And thank you so much for your involvement in that.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Um, Honestly, I've only known two people in my life that are better humans than Billy Blackwood, and one's my dad.
Yeah,
I do have to go there. The other is Billy's dad.
yeah. I never
Uh,
met him, so
um, Unbelievable man, unbelievable man, and um, so what was neat for me was um, I literally have known Billy my entire life, and because of the this all started with Dad and Billy's dad, James.
right.
So when so a fill-in thing fill-in thing, you ended up on the SS Minnow because it was more than a 3-hour tour, right?
It was great, man. I was there for right at 6 months
That's
with them.
crazy. That's
So yeah, I told my wife when she dropped me off the airport, I said I'm gonna fly down here, make a feel full of myself. I'll get it right here in a minute. Make a fool of myself, and I'll be back next week. And I was just really surprised because after the first night, Billy came to me and said, "Buddy, the situation you were in and doing the job that you did, we don't know how long Wayne's going to be out. Is there any way you can just fill in with us until he comes back?" And I was just, I was speechless. I was blown away. But you know, Billy and Butch and Jonathan treated me so well. Billy
right.
was so nice to me, and he always is. Every time I see him, he just
Right.
treats me so nice. You know, it's amazing.
And the other guys you mentioned, Butch.
Yeah,
I don't know. There's many finer humans than Butch Owens.
absolutely not.
What an amazing man.
Yeah.
Amazing. Okay, so when that ended, um, where did you go from there?
Uh, I guess it was probably about 5 months after that was all. That was during COVID. Actually, my last weekend with the Blackwood Brothers was 2 weeks before COVID started.
Ah,
And then I think it was maybe July of that year. I think
so
it
hang on,
was.
back up real quick. So
Yeah.
Dad knew that.
Yes, he did.
Okay, I couldn't remember that. Ooh, that's special to me. That
Yeah.
he did know that because I know he loved you and believed in you. So good. I didn't remember that time frame. So okay, go on.
Yeah. Well, real quick, I just want to say, if it wasn't for God and the Novels, I would have probably never had the opportunity to live the dream that I have. Because your dad, using his phrase, poured so much into me,
Yeah.
and worked with me so much, gave me the opportunity to work with Bill Bays at the school and learn from him and Danny Funderburk. And without all of that, I would have never been able to do the things that I've done. So thank you to the Novell family for all of that. And your mom. You
Yeah.
know, your
So
mom took me out and bought me clothes for an audition once. Yeah, you guys have
dad
been great, man.
dad had
Anyway,
the unique ability to see into someone and truly see their potential.
he did.
And let me pull this up earlier. I Pastor John posted something today, and I shared it to the private. Pastor John posted, "You have no interest where you have no investment."
Mm,
And when
and that's
dad
good.
when dad had an interest, he invested in that
Yeah,
person, in that
yeah.
individual. So okay, so
60 Melody Boys.
there you go. Okay.
That was next. Yep, I got the job working for Ed O'Neill. I was there for about 3 years with Ed, and then he shut the group down, retired the group. Um, so that was awesome. Again, a legend, right? I
Absolutely.
mean, on stage with a legend, it's just crazy, crazy.
Absolutely. And that was a good lineup.
It was.
That was a good lineup. I remember coming out and seeing you, and Butch was there that night.
Butch was there that night. And Harold Reed was there.
Harold Reed was there that night.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Um, um, great lineup, good singers. Caden, right?
yeah. Caden, the lead singer, is now the baritone with the Down East Boys. He's up for Young Artist of the Year this year, top 5.
Look, I mean, they're cooking.
Yeah, man.
Unbelievable, unbelievable what they're doing.
Just
So
saw them
yeah,
Saturday night, man. They crushed it. They're so good.
that's awesome. That's awesome. Okay, so then from there,
Well, from there, actually, Brian Hudson got a call, and he recommended me to the Stamps. So I was still with Ed, but he was in the point that we were slowing down, almost ready to retire. Anyway, we're supposed to retire in June. So I got the call to go to Europe with the Stamps and do Elvis shows over there for 7 weeks, singing with Ed Enoch every single night.
that's crazy.
You know, I was a huge Bill Bays fan,
Right.
Elvis fan. I got to learn from Bill, and then God worked it out that I got to stand in his position, singing the songs and everything that he sang every night, standing beside another legend, Eddie Knox. So
This sounds like a Disney script, buddy.
yeah, man, I'm telling you, it's crazy that God is in just a little amount of time, And I want to throw one more thing in here, Rob, because I got kind of skipped over this, but in 2016, I survived cardiac arrest. January 29, 2016, they had to shock me or do 3 rounds of CPR and shock me 3 times to get me back. And I was so weak and so tired, and I thought my career was over. I thought I would never sing again. Little did I know what God had in store.
Just starting, really. Yeah.
Just starting. Yeah. Just blows my mind. So I feel that's such an important part of this, just to see how God works and the things that he does, that, I went through that. And at that point, because my whole life I've dreamt of doing this full time. And when that happened, I said, that's it. It's over. I'm never going to do it, And then next thing you know, here I'm on stage with the Blackwood Brothers, a couple years later. So anyway, but yeah, I went to Europe for 7 weeks and did all the shows over there. Sold out arenas and venues almost every single night, and it was just crazy.
Okay, and then that brings us up to the most recent stint for you.
The most recent was with the Dixie Echoes. Again, Hall of Fame, legendary, just crazy. I've been so blessed, man.
Randy Sr., hands down, most underrated musician our business has ever known.
I agree.
Phenomenal. Couple years after Dad had passed, I was in Alabama, Wetumpka, Alabama. Mark Lanier from Perfect Heart. He has a Jeff Lanier, his brother, sang with the Bible Tones.
Okay.
Jeff is an alum of the school, and he would have Mark has a Jeff Lanier sing every year, and for a couple years was giving away scholarships to CNS there at the Sing. So he'd have me come in and have me play, and so they were there that night, and I sat at a table in the fellowship hall of that church prior to the service starting with Randy, and I had the first intelligent musical conversation I had had with a human since my dad had passed.
Yeah.
And just we didn't really, we knew each other, but didn't really know. And he had a lot of respect for Dad, and started just really sharing things about Dad that he had to know who Dad was to know what he was sharing. And
right.
So that was super, super cool. So and then Scoot, good grief, what a great guy.
And honestly, Scoot doesn't get the credit that he deserves. No. That guy is unbelievably talented. Because he plays bass guitar, but he can play drums, piano, guitar. He can play all of that. He knows all the music stuff with Randy, and they talk about all the fancy harmonies that they do. And super talented, man. Super talented.
Yeah, I in talking with Randy Sr. at that dinner table, it made me miss my dad because of their relationship, and and then Scoot and I have talked a little bit about that since. Just some of the conversations Dad and I would bore the average person, but I mean, we would geek out talking music and theory and different things. Now, we what we call in the Novell household, we used to have moments of intense fellowship.
I understand.
When it came down to all you had to do was say bass singers. And by default, you got to understand, it was growing up in the Novell house, it was Blackwood Brothers and everybody else.
Yep. Yep.
So he was JD and I was Tim Riley, and we just would go back and forth. And
I
we
get
could
it.
we couldn't even agree on a mutual number two. You know, it was. But okay, so while you were still with the Shell Nuts, Memphis Quartet show of 24,
Yep.
I came out to be part of Billy's 90th anniversary with the Blackwood Brothers
Okay.
and got to see you there. And
Yep.
we were about a month before CNS 24. And I remember asking you where we were looking. It was highly possible I was going to need a last minute addition to the staff, and we were on track for that. And then we got hit with a bunch of cancellations, and it didn't pan out last year. But this past year, I saw again we definitely needed to bring someone in, and I reached out to you to see if you would be interested in teaching at CNS, and
Yes.
you said yes. And thank you for that, buddy.
Nope.
It what it's you have always been on the short list of additions to our staff. So um, CNS, we have history, we have heritage, we have reputation, and all that's happened 5 years ago when Dad passed. I was given the keys to a sound car, and really all we've done is detailed it a little bit, and
Yeah.
um, so adding people like you to the staff made for we just come off a great, probably the best CNS we've ever had, and
Wow.
I a couple years ago I struggled saying that because, well, it's Dad's school, right?
Right. Right.
And
Absolutely.
he's not there, and then we've lost Jeff, which was a vital part, Stice, of the school. But you know what, buddy? Um, we're 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 supposed to. Okay, so yeah, as big as the Blackwood thing was, man, Europe with Elvis shows with Stance was not on the radar. Was
No.
not on the radar. And look, if we don't expect bigger and better things, then honestly, we're shortchanging what God needs to do through us and in our lives. So, you know, I honestly, I will very confidently, proudly, flat-footed, without any type of uh, regret, say we just had the best CNS we've ever had. And partly you play into that because you were on our staff this year, and great feedback. So you knew of what we did. You've been part of some regionals with me
Right.
in Cincinnati, which we've got that one coming up. We'll start announcing that soon. That's in October. No, November,
November. Yeah.
November this year. Um, so you'll be part of that. But so this was your first time in for the full week. What was the experience like for you?
Absolutely amazing. You know, I was at the school before when it was over here in Northern Kentucky. That's when I took lessons with Bill Bays, but I was unable to attend during the day, so I just went to the evening
Ah,
concerts and I studied with Bill, and that was really all I got to attend. So I've heard from you many times about can't really explain the school; you have to experience it. You know, and that's so accurate. That is so accurate. There's just so many great people on staff, so many great people that attend, so many young people this year. It was great to work with them. You know, some of my students, I went from 13-year-old student to a 78-year-old student.
right.
You know,
That's the coolest thing about CNS. It's for people say who's CNS for? Everybody,
yeah,
small to tall. We had a 76 year, or I'm sorry, we had a 6 year old there, and we had an 86 year old there.
yeah,
So yeah, it's for everybody.
yeah. But it was absolutely amazing, you know, and I went there thinking that I'm going to go there and I'm going to help all these people and share with them the knowledge that I have and the things I've learned through the years, and basically try to help others. You know what I'm saying? That was my whole thought going there, not realizing how much the school was going to help me.
Wow.
Getting to meet Tim Owens and hang out with him. We shared the suite there that we were in. What an incredible guy. John Groves. I don't want to go through mentioning everyone, but those guys, when they did the devotions.
Who else was in your suite?
Oh, well, Gary Shepard was in there. And I will tell you, he should win the alarm clock award, because when you're sleeping, you can be sound asleep. But when he walks out to that little lobby area and starts singing at 6 o'clock in the morning, it'll wake you up. There was people down at the cemetery raising up going, "What is that?"
Oh, Shep. Shep
was a blast, man.
Yeah. There's only one Shep. There's only one Shep. Yeah. So, what you got to experience is, and it's always been this way, but intentionally, the last 5 years, part of mine and Jen's focus has been family, community. It's always been that way. I grew up in the school. Some of my closest friends to this day I met when I was a student in the school. But what we've been able to do is just some things that Dad. I think the last year he did his taxes, he still did them on an abacus. He wasn't technical. So we've tapped into social media and various things. We do that private Facebook page, and that's been golden, because as students have things and I see them, I share them and we celebrate them. And we're a month removed from the school, but literally there's contact on every day on that Facebook page. So
there is.
We talk about family and we talk about community. That is something you got to experience coming in, and our staff is extremely close and just knitted together. And so welcome aboard. It's an honor to have you. Your students that had you, we're lucky to have you. We'll be opening registration, you all, in August, and our teachers they only have so many slots for private students. So if you want to get with Buddy, you need to register early so you can secure. Well, I'm saying that, and are you going to be back with us, Buddy?
Yes, sir, I am. You invited me back, and I wouldn't miss it. As long as I could be there, I want to be there. It was great.
Good, because I'm sitting here committing you already, and I'm like, speaking of technology, I'm going to have to figure out if AI can duplicate you if you're not coming. I have to.
You don't want a duplicate of me, man. I'm telling you. You don't want that.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny. Okay, so any highlights from CNS that stuck out to you?
Singing with Danny.
Okay.
That just totally caught me off guard. When is a tenor singer, going to be invited to come up and sing with the greatest tenor singer ever, Danny.
Right.
So that was a highlight, to be able to sing with him. That was fun. And this may be a little strange for some folks, but actually the devotions, man, the devotions every single morning were just so good. And the message that was in those was, they would just touch me every single day. So those were highlights to me.
You mentioned Tim Owens a while ago. Tim and I were talking a couple weeks ago, and I was sharing with him, we get feedback every year after the school, but the volume of feedback that we had this year post CNS, but specifically, Rob, I came to accomplish this musically. I came to figure out how to properly do this I came to hear the songwriters give me form and structure on my writing. Um, but bigger than all that, which I got all that, Rob, bigger than that, what God did in my life
Yeah,
spiritually during the week.
absolutely.
And Tim said it, and I bet you'll see me mark it and use this year. Tim said, "You know what, Rob? Basically, CNS is a discipleship program that just so happens to teach music."
Absolutely.
And when he said that, and I'm getting chills hearing it again, um, nothing would make my dad more happy and more proud
Absolutely.
because 2018 was the last year physically dad was able to be at the school. 2019, he was having good weeks and bad weeks mobility wise. And they called me over the week before the school and said, we've made a decision not to go. And I'm like, okay, what are we going to do? And he said, you're going to go and you're going to take care of this. And I'm like, I'm what? And, and I had, he probably 5, 6 years prior to that, he was, he was pushing me a little bit more front.
Right.
Um, and he's like, look, I've trained you to do this, but more importantly, your heavenly father created you to do this. So Robbie, just go point them to Jesus.
Yeah.
That's all you have to do. Just go
Yeah.
point them to Jesus. And so, a discipleship program that just so happens to teach music. Yeah, that sums up who we are pretty well.
Yeah, I think so. It was
And the evening concerts too. Monday night was a just a special
yeah.
altar time.
Yes.
And I'm a planner. I dot the I's, I cross the T's. A lot of work goes in all year long. For it's like Christmas. You go shopping, you take all the time to wrap the gifts, and they're under the tree for like a month, and then in 10 minutes, there's just
It's
no.
over.
Yeah, it's over, and there's just trash laying everywhere.
Yep.
That's kind of what running a CNS is like. You work and work and work, and then you blink your eyes and it's over. But our focus in all of this is, yeah, we're going to schedule, we're going to plan. I won't mention it, but we talked a little off air a while ago. Some new staff coming in for CNS 26. We will talk about that here in the next couple of weeks. We'll start talking about that, but all the planning, the Holy Spirit knows at any given moment he has the green light to take that plan and wad it up and throw it out the window.
Right.
And when we start when we start operating in priority, and priority means honestly for me, for Rob, it's God, it's my wife, it's my kids. This music stuff's kind of way down the list,
Hmm.
way down the list. And I think I know the staff that God has assembled at CNS, um, they're disciples at heart, and they want to create disciples. And um, we can fine tune your singing and your playing all day long, but look, if you're not um, if if the vessel isn't carrying Jesus inside of it to begin with, it's all a waste. So um,
Absolutely.
man, listen, thank you for being part of this podcast today and sharing some of your past with the people, like your rhinestone pants. Um, I have a good memory, buddy. I will
That's what I'm
not
afraid of.
I will not forget that one. I will not forget that one. But then, just kind of bringing us down the line. Pretty incredible, buddy. Honestly, what you've been able to accomplish, and it's an honor to call you a friend. It's an honor to have you on our staff at the school. And man, any last parting things you want to share?
No, just I got to meet Michael Combs.
Okay.
When I was on the cruise with the Dixie Echoes a couple years, and he sang a song that has really spoke to me, and it's "One Blessed Man." I'm one blessed man.
Yes.
And I feel like God's leading me in a direction that I don't want to go.
Right.
Because I'm a quartet man, but I feel like he's leading me to start doing some solo ministry.
Very cool.
And I just look at the things God has done in my life, and that song just really speaks to me. I'm one blessed man in so many ways, And thank you for inviting me to the school, for doing the podcast. I love your family, man. I love you. I love your dad, Jen. The Novels are very special to me and always will be. Thank you so much for everything.
Oh, absolutely. It's our honor to do life with you, and that's kind of how we talk about our staff. We get to do life with you, and we get to do ministry with you.
Yep.
All right. Listen, thanks for your time today. Hey, everybody, thanks for tuning in. All of this information, Buddy talked a lot about things today. If you go back and listen and digest this, this will make, if you truly listen to what Buddy shared, this is going to make this be your best day yet. You all be blessed. We'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye. Thanks for listening to the Charles Novell School of Music podcast, The Best Day Yet. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter under the name the Charles Novell School of Music. And for more information on CNS and our upcoming events, like our online school, our weekend regional sessions, our creative coaching, and our pastor's retreat, you can visit us at our website at www.cnsmusic.com. As you've listened to this episode, we hope that you've gained some information that you can apply to your music and to your ministry to make today the best day yet.